started on it. Now, oh, maybe I won't. You with me, guys? All right. For the most part of this, we want to make sure that we have a good population parameter to bounce against, and we want to make sure we have a point estimate, something that estimates this. So when we estimate your population parameters, you're going to use your sample statistics to make an estimate of your population. And I think on your notes, I gave you, I didn't. But as we do this, we'll go through each one. Your population mean is a U. Okay, we want to make your point estimate something to estimate a population mean. If I'm surveying all high school students, I probably don't know the population mean. So I want to make my sample represent my population mean. That's the one I'm going to go off of. We call it a point estimate. That's that little point that you need to know. So we estimate it as close as possible. We also, in this section, start looking at sample sizes. We separate them into large samples versus small samples. A large sample is anything 30 and over. A small sample is the opposite, under 30. We use a z-score when we use a large sample. We're going to use a t-score when we use a small sample. Because sometimes it's not possible to sample as many as you want. Sometimes you don't get a lot of choice in what you're looking for. So again, we'll take a look at your standard deviation and we'll match it up to your population parameters. So right now, most of the time, we're going to talk about your mean first. We're going to find a point estimate for your population mean. And that's going to be your sample mean. We're going to use that to represent our population mean. And basically, it's just finding the mean of your data set. So if, for example, in L1, and I'm not going to have you do the whole thing, if you're looking at example 1, here's your market research uses the number of sentences per advertisement as a measure of readability for magazine advertisements. The following is a random sample of sentences found in 54. You sampled 54 advertisements. With me, Ben? Find the point estimate and estimate your population mean. If you have your sample of 54, it's greater than or equal to 30, so we're a large sample. That's considered a large sample. How do you find the mean of something?
Add it all up and divide it by the number of them.
Add them all up and divide it by how many there are. So that's how you find your mean. We also put it in your L1, and we do a one-var stat. A one-var stat finds us your mean and finds us your standard deviation. So we do that. Once we find a point estimate for the sample, we can consider that your population mean. Okay, so I'm not really going to spend a lot of time. Everybody knows how to find mean and standard deviation. Now, if you move on to the interval part, since the probability, this is so important, this piece right here. Since the probability of finding any exact point as a population mean is extremely, extremely small, if I want to be exactly that number, we can estimate that the mean, the population mean, the mu, lies in an interval. And our intervals, the mean would be in the middle, and it would have equal sides, equal lengths on both parts. That's called our margin of error. So we make an interval estimate. So now, instead of saying the mean is going to be 50, I'm going to say, instead of having this point, I'm going to say my mean might go from 47 to 53. So if my mean falls within that interval, I'm good. So to pick one point to estimate, like if you were taking a test, you say, I'm going to get an 85. You have to get exactly 85. That's like that's hard to do. You say, I'll probably get between 80 and 90. Isn't that better? Like 85 to 90. You know, if you pick out group of numbers. So we tend to use more intervals. To use an interval, we estimate your population parameter. To form this interval, the point estimate is the center of your interval, and then we add or subtract a margin of error. It's going to look like this. So that we can use your number line, put the point in the middle, add a certain amount, subtract a certain amount, and we have an interval set up. Now, your margin of error has a whole formula that they want us to use. So we'll get to that part first, but just to see how this works, in the example in your book, they found that the mean for your advertisement, in example 2, they found that your mean for your advertisements. Okay, here's your mean for your advertisements. Guys, give me one more minute. Here's your mean for your advertisements. So we are going to develop this margin of error tomorrow. But for now, if they give us a margin of error, all we do is take your mean, subtract it, take your mean, and add it. So now, here's my interval. And we write an interval like this. It could go like this, or you're going to see it written like this, as a less than statement, as an in-between statement. Either way, we can write this. And generally, you'll see it written this way too. So tomorrow, we'll continue with this, since you're